Hello everyone, welcome back to this channel. Today, we're going to discuss a moment that made the world stop for a moment. Two simple words, "Don't go," tumbled from Jungkook's lips, suddenly transforming a brightly lit stage into a silent space filled with questions. What really happened? What was the hidden meaning behind his trembling gaze, and why was Jimin speechless? Get ready, because this story isn't just a rumor, not just a stage moment, but one of the most profound expressions the Golden Magne has ever shared. Let's get started. But to this day, one thing remains constant. When Jungkook said, "Don't go," the world fell silent because, for the first time, the public felt the truth coming from the voice of an idol defending the person closest to him. An emotional moment involving Jungkook suddenly became the center of global attention when amateur footage captured him uttering two simple words that shook millions of fans: "Don't go." The words came amidst what should have been a festive atmosphere, at a show proceeding as usual, but suddenly turned into an emotional spectacle that stunned the public. Many wondered how such a short phrase could spark theories, analysis, and extensive discussion around the world. What was really going on behind the scenes? South Korean pop culture observers called the moment one of the most honest emotional outbursts ever from Jungkook, a superstar who is usually adept at hiding his feelings. The spotlight then turned to the long-standing relationship between Jungkook and Jimin, a relationship that has existed for years and is often considered one of the deepest dynamics within BTS. When the camera caught Jungkook staring at Jimin before saying, "Don't go," the public immediately sensed something bigger than stage banter or simple spontaneity. International forums began to fill with analysis. Was this a sign of separation? Or simply the fear of someone grappling with a major life change? An anonymous insider even stated that the moment wasn't spontaneous, but rather an emotional reaction to something long held. According to the source, Jungkook is the type who finds it difficult to hide his anxiety when someone important to him is leaving, even temporarily. On the other hand, Jimin's behavior that night was no less noteworthy. After hearing those words, he appeared silent, without the smiles or jokes he usually offered to lighten the mood. Non-verbal communication experts believe Jimin's silence was a sign of deep understanding, that he understood Jungkook's fears even before the words were spoken. Jimin's small touch on Jungkook's arm was a symbol of silent support, but also implied an apology or a burden he couldn't express. Various speculations arose, including rumors that Jimin was preparing for a major project abroad that would require him to be away for an extended period. These rumors were reinforced by reports that Jimin had accepted an offer for an international creative collaboration that required months of isolation and complete focus. To the public, the major project sounded like something to be proud of. But for someone who has spent years calling Jimin his emotional home, the news is undoubtedly much heavier. In psychology literature, there's a concept called an emotional foundation figure, a person who serves as a center of mental stability for another individual. Many observers believe Jimin holds this position for Jungkook. Since his trainee days, Jimin has been a nurturing, supportive figure for Jungkook through his stressful teenage years. Old accounts, such as the moment when Jimin looked after Jungkook when he nearly fainted in 2016, are now being revisited as evidence of the depth of their relationship. Similarly, small moments like Jungkook dragging Jimin's suitcase because he knew his best friend was tired, or the times they shared their worries together in the studio. All these pieces of history are now seen as an emotional puzzle that points to an understanding of why those two words carry such weight. Amateur footage shows Jungkook, before speaking, looking anxiously at Jimin several times, fiddling with the ring on his finger, and taking deep breaths. These signs indicate someone struggling to hold back something they want to say, but afraid everyone will hear. When those words finally came out, the stage seemed to stop. The roar of the audience suddenly paled in comparison to the vibrations of Jungkook's voice. The world witnessed Jungkook not the mega idol, but the ordinary man, terrified of losing someone important to him. Analysts believe this was a moment where the boundaries between public and private life completely collapsed, revealing a vulnerability rarely seen in a global star. But most surprising of all, there has been no official statement explaining the true context of this moment. The lack of explanation only makes this moment even more mysterious, more open to interpretation, and more powerful in its emotional resonance with the public. Some see it as a growing moment, a phase in which a relationship must adapt to the changes in each person's life. Others fear it is the beginning of an emotional breakup that they don't want to say.